3 by 4 meters, underground, for 346 days. One Ukrainian soldier, 2 comrades when he started. One died early, the other bled out in his arms on day 346. He crawled away that night, left his brother behind. His hands still shake. He says he'd go back if he had to. For nearly an entire year, one Ukrainian soldier lived beneath the battlefield, trapped inside a cramped underground shelter where every sunrise could have been his last. Surrounded by drones, constant bombardment, and enemy assaults, he fought not only to stay alive, but to preserve his humanity. His extraordinary story offers a rare glimpse into how modern drone warfare has transformed the front lines into a place where soldiers can spend months buried beneath the earth, almost completely cut off from the outside world. Serhii Krynitsky served with Ukraine's 24th Mechanized Brigade near Chasiv Yar between April 2025 and March 2026. During those 346 days, he lived almost entirely inside a foxhole measuring roughly 3 by 4 meters. Using a mobile phone powered at times by batteries recovered from downed Russian drones, he recorded video diaries documenting life beneath the battlefield.
Hello everyone, I want to show you the weapons of the enemies with whom I had contact. I got them as a trophy. 1, 2, 3. This is my small arsenal.
Krynitsky's recordings reveal the devastating reality of a battlefield dominated by drones. Constant aerial surveillance has forced both Ukrainian and Russian forces to abandon large formations in favor of tiny groups of just 2 or 3 soldiers scattered across a vast kill zone. With drones hunting anything that moves, troop rotations have become so dangerous that many soldiers remain in the same position for months.
Right now, I'm going to show you how an FPV, a so-called kamikaze drone, flew right into us. There is the nasty thing hanging. A mine is still attached to it. Thank God it fell and didn't explode, otherwise we would have been finished here. All right, everyone stay strong and healthy. Peace and quiet to you. See you, bye everyone.
Krynitsky and his comrades repeatedly rebuilt their underground shelter after drone strikes. One fellow soldier was killed early in the deployment. The remaining 2 endured freezing temperatures, repeated Russian assaults, and frequent shortages of food. When resupply drones failed to reach them, they survived by scavenging food, cigarettes, and equipment from fallen Russian soldiers. On March 11th, after hearing an explosion outside, Krynitsky rushed from the foxhole and found his only remaining companion critically wounded by a Russian drone strike. He dragged him back inside, cut open his trousers, and applied a tourniquet. But the shrapnel had already severed an artery. There was nothing more he could do.
This was my brother-in-arms, with whom I was almost a year at this position. He was this evening, he was 43 years old. That is our fate, damn it.
Ordered to abandon the position as Russian forces advanced, Krynitsky crawled away that night, leaving behind the man who had shared nearly a year of unimaginable hardship. After spending almost 3 more weeks in another position, he completed a dangerous 25-kilometer journey to safety.
But nobody's soul points towards it, and your legs will not go there themselves. But it is necessary. It is necessary. Neither me nor the boys wanted to go there, but we went and got it done. We did our part, as they say. And going back, or not going back, right now my health is not good enough. But if I have to, I will go back.
In May, President Volodymyr Zelensky awarded Serhii Krynitsky the title of Hero of Ukraine for his courage. Today, the war still lives inside him. His hands shake, and he admits many soldiers have gone out of their minds after such prolonged deployments. Yet, speaking to school children after returning home helped him understand the purpose behind his sacrifice.
I realized that now that I was in those schools, that it was not for nothing that I was there. It was not in vain that I protected our land, so that these children could study, see the clear sky.
Krynitsky's story is a stark reminder that behind every trench, every battlefield, and every headline lies a human being carrying scars that may never truly heal. The war has reached one of the most unexpected targets inside Russia. Not an airbase, not an oil refinery, not military headquarters. This time, Ukraine has gone after Russia's biggest online retailer, Wildberries, setting some of its largest warehouse complexes ablaze in a series of long-range drone strikes. The attacks have triggered billions of dollars in damage, left thousands of businesses in crisis, and opened a new front in Kyiv's campaign to weaken the Russian economy. Over the past several days, Ukrainian drones struck major Wildberries logistics centers in Krasnodar and Stavropol Krai. This was not a one-off strike. Ukraine first struck Wildberries on July 18th, hitting the company's major logistics hubs in Elektrostal near Moscow and Kotovsk in the Tambov region. 4 days later, on July 22nd, it launched a second wave of attacks, targeting 2 more distribution centers in Krasnodar and Nevinomysk in Stavropol Krai. In less than a week, 4 of Wildberries' biggest logistics hubs had come under Ukrainian attack. According to various estimates, the combined damage now stands between 150 and 230 billion rubles, with tens of billions more needed to clear the wreckage and rebuild the facilities. Speaking about the attacks on the warehouses, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that Kyiv had struck 2 logistics facilities used by Russia to supply components for drone production and navigation equipment.
Today, targets were hit near Moscow as well as in the Tambov region. These were Russian logistics facilities, including warehouses supplying equipment for the war effort, navigation systems, components used in drone production, and other supplies for the Russian military.
However, the Kremlin rejected the claims and denied accusations from Ukraine that Wildberries handles military supplies used for Russia's war effort.
It is not true. The Kyiv regime continues to strike civilian targets. That is the terrorist nature of the Kyiv regime. As for the company you mentioned, the situation is indeed difficult because of the losses suffered both by the company itself and by small and medium-sized businesses. The government is dealing with this issue.
Wildberries is no ordinary retailer. It dominates more than 40% of Russia's online retail market and, together with Ozon, controls almost 70% of the sector. Often compared with Amazon, its influence inside Russia is arguably even greater. Annual turnover exceeds 4 trillion rubles, representing more than 10% of the country's domestic trade. The impact has been immediate. Russian social media is filled with desperate appeals from small and medium-sized business owners whose merchandise was destroyed inside the warehouses. Some reportedly lost everything. One entrepreneur is said to have taken his own life after inventory purchased with a 12 million ruble loan was reduced to ashes. Adding to the anger, Wildberries had already amended its terms of service earlier this month, removing compensation for losses caused by wartime circumstances, meaning affected sellers will receive nothing. At first glance, the warehouses appear to be civilian targets. Wildberries is best known for selling clothing, household goods, toys, and electronics. But Ukraine argues there is another side to the story. The marketplace openly sells dual-use equipment, including DJI drones, tactical gear, and drone payload release systems that can be adapted for military use. Kyiv says the platform has become part of the wider supply chain supporting Russia's expanding drone capabilities. Ukraine also points to a broader reality. Moreover, much of the military-related merchandise is hidden within seemingly civilian categories, such as auto parts or electronics. For example, one can openly purchase drone bomb release mechanisms or payload retention systems, equipment designed to carry and release explosives from drones. Wildberries sells them without restriction, complete with technical specifications. Since launching its full-scale invasion in 2022, Russia has repeatedly struck Ukrainian logistics centers, postal terminals, warehouses, supermarkets, shopping centers, railway infrastructure, and power facilities. Millions of tons of humanitarian supplies, medicines, food and commercial goods have been destroyed, while entire cities have been reduced to ruins. Kyiv says its strategy has now evolved. Rather than limiting long-range strikes to oil depots and military facilities, Ukraine is increasingly targeting the economic infrastructure that keeps Russia's wartime economy functioning. Wildberries is not only a retail giant, but also one of Russia's biggest taxpayers, generating hundreds of millions of dollars each year for the state budget. The company also plays a central role in Russia's parallel import network, helping sanctioned Western goods continue reaching Russian consumers through third countries despite international restrictions. Disrupting that network could make sanctions far more painful for ordinary Russians while increasing pressure on the Kremlin. As Ukraine expands its deep strike campaign, the battlefield is no longer confined to trenches and front lines. It is increasingly reaching the economic heart of Russia itself, where every warehouse destroyed carries consequences far beyond the flames.